Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com on a Friday, last day of May. Big reversal coming in at the end of the day. And, you know, if you were watching your charts, let's get into that again. Subscribe to the newsletter. We had core PCE initially, you know, it was all over the place. We tried to sell off this morning, came right back up again on the S&P. Dow rallied after being down, for many, many days. So let's get right into the charts. Again, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it on the charts. It's kind of we were basically in an option position. We closed that out near the close on the puts, and then we stayed long calls. This surge at the end really benefited us, and we're also long a couple of we're also long some stocks. One stock in particular. All right, let's go ahead and get to the charts. On the S&P, we essentially came down to 5,200, which are where these two blue lines are this morning. Once we came down here, it was, we started gradually moving higher. And then pause right at the 5,200, and then we're kind of just generally just moving higher, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the day, probably end of month positioning, who knows what this is, options expiration, we have this massive explosive rally at the end of the day. All in all, there's basically no change to the current environment, right? I mean, it's just basically just all back and forth, lots of choppy trading. This is why you don't want to chase any move down, and you don't want to buy any move up. Coming into next week, we've got non-farm payrolls a week from today. We got still some earnings. We got some levels up here, but generally speaking, you can make the case that possibly we go up and make new highs if rates come down, but nothing new. The Nasdaq was the laggard, and also coming into just a cluster of trading here, kind of this ugly area, big wicky area. I was actually looking for lower levels, so that, and then the one I've been talking about is the Dow. We didn't come down to here on the Dow, but we did get a little breakout situation here for a few hundred points, and now we've got some levels up top on the Dow, so we'll see how that pans out. Also, Bitcoin, nothing going on there. Russell, nothing major going on there. Rates, really very little change today. I got to tell you, this was a little bit surprising today with the core PCE, the dollar, also just chopping around. So all these markets, other than the S&P, had all the movement today. Been talking about silver, that sold off pretty hard today with the dollar moving higher. If it breaks down here below the 30, that's really the key level. We cannot see that thing breaking 30 if we're still going to go. I mean, eventually we'll probably go higher, but the 30 level is the key right here for silver. You can see, I mean, it just, again, been consolidating. Similar with gold, all the metals, really not a lot going on with the metals markets, really. Oil also back down to, we did get a little bit of bounce. We have OPEC this weekend. We'll see how, see if that's going to change the dynamic here. Maybe we come down to 76, lower part of this band here. But again, just kind of back and forth. And then nat gas on the 250 level, kind of holding right there. That's a level I've been mentioning, writing about with my members. And also the grain markets also coming into some really key levels, $12 bushel on soybeans, and then wheat. And overall, very interesting kind of dynamic today. But, again, if you take a step back, we just continue to go back and forth. Really, at the end of the day, that's really what it is. We're kind of holding these demand zones. We get a rally, whether this continues next week and we actually get a push out to the highs, that's going to be obviously something to look at. But other than that, more of the same. And then coming into, the summer and the political situation going on, with the elections coming up and everything else still. But under the hood, again, interestingly, under the hood, a bunch of stuff going on. Earnings, Dell got hammered today on one hand. On the other hand, you had some of these retailers really exploding to the upside. So it's just a mixed bag all over the place underneath the surface. We'll see what happens. It's going to be another fascinating week next week. That's what makes this business so great. Never a dull moment, but you guys still have with the discipline and all that. So, okay. All right. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. I have another class I'm going to be scheduling soon, so keep an eye out for that. Okay. Take care.